Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, before we get started, we'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to.
Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Chakmadash.
And double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who were well and tell the truth. This is the brothers from GMS National Camp, back at you again with another lesson out there, the spirit power of Ba'ashim outside. Ba'ashim Chakmadash. And it looks like the Sabbath is, coming to an end. So, closing out the Sabbath and Lord willing and edifying, to the spirit, to the body, to the fold. As the title goes, it says, this shall be with burning. And as the scripture continues on, it says, this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Because we're seeing these wars, rumors of wars intensifying. We're seeing Israel and Iran going at it now. We see Russia and Ukraine, they still going at it. And you got China and Taiwan in the background. They still, mixing and mingling and talking up without going to war with each other, man. So we're seeing these things intensifying, and it's not just those. There's other wars. You've got Israel that just defeated Hezbollah, their leaders, when they brought up another leader, I believe, and then they killed him. So we're seeing these things intensifying. If I may real quick bring out Matthew 24 and verse 3. Matthew 24, and I'm going to start at verse 3, and it reads, And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And when you go into that word world, is going into the word eon, which goes into representing an age, a period of time. So the Yahweh's disciples at the time was asking them, hey, when's going to be the end of this work, the end of this age, the end of this rulership? What are some signs to know that we're at the end? And so Yahweh gave them signs, and I'm gonna jump down to verse 6. And ye shall hear, this is Yahweh speaking, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So Yahweh said, what? That we're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. We're going to see these things pop off. And as we get to what it said, but the end is not yet. Showing you that even though we see these things come to pass, it's not the end. But war's been going on. Wars and rumors of wars been going on for a while now, since we've been speaking about it. 2022, you had Russia invade Ukraine, going back, as you were saying the other day, going back with Russia and Crimea. That was a war. You got the Afghanistan, America backing out of Afghanistan. You got the Iraqi war. So these things are intensifying, and as we get closer, we're seeing more and more wars intensifying and coming to the plate. So verse 7, and then you got it. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So really, this is the beginning. This is the beginning, and it's only going to get worse as we get closer to the end. There is no bounce back for America. America is not going to bounce back. Phoenix rise from the ashes? There is no bouncing back for America, for this society, man. It's finished.
And the only one that's rising from the ashes is the nation of Israel. We're the only ones that's rising up. So, 2nd Ezra 9 and 6, main point, it says, For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. And so Esau, this is the end of his age, the time of him ruling. Because the kingdom is about to be translated over to another people, which are the Israelites. So these things have to happen. And also, too, this is what we're doing. Because, if you call yourself a prophet, you got to be sounding that alarm. So Joel 2 and 1, blow you the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. So the day of the Lord is at hand, and we're sounding that trumpet. We're giving that alarm. And it says blow a trumpet in Zion. So we're blowing the trumpet really for our people. For the Israelites, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and Spanish to wake up, to be aware about what's getting ready to happen. Jacob's trouble, ultimately. The day of the Lord, Jacob's trouble is all in one. World War III is all in one. It says, and actually I wanted to get this too. Let's see. I want to get the 3rd chapter real quick. Because this war that's happening is orchestrated by Yahweh Bashim Shah. and it's happening because of what these other nations have done to us. And this is one of my favorite verses or chapters, Joel 3, and I'm gonna start at 2. It says, "I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Yehoshaphat." It says Jehoshaphat, which means, Yehoshaphat, Yahweh's judgment, where he's going to sit there and judge the nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat, or the Levant. It says over there in the so-called Middle East, which is not even called the Middle East, it's Asia. It says, "And will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." So the land is parted unto who? The Amalekites. And that's why there's no peace in that land, like God says in Isaiah 2. When the people return to the land, there won't be no more wars on earth anymore. So that's how we know who you are. And you're fulfilling prophecy. You got something else to work?
Yeah, I'm going to pull out this article real quick from The Guardian, Guardian.com, published October 3rd, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob Trouble, which is today. It says, Biden says U.S. discussing possible Israeli plans to attack Iran's oil industry. Joe Biden has said that his administration has been discussing possible Israeli plans to attack Iran's oil industry in retaliation for the Iranian ballistic missile attack on Tuesday. So we're seeing that things are intensifying, and it's looking like if this continues on and it continues to intensify and grow, Israel is going to drag the U.S. into the war as well.
I got that.
It says Biden's off-the-cut remark did not make clear whether his administration was holding internal discussions or talking directly to Israel, nor did he clarify what his attitude was to such an attack. First of all, we don't allow Israel, we advise Israel, he told reporters. And there is nothing going to happen today. Nonetheless, at a time of high tensions across the Middle East, the comment triggered a spike in global oil prices, with potentially damaging effects on his Vice President Kamala Harris. So we're seeing these things are intensifying, and ultimately, Israel is going to drag the U.S. into conflict in the war.
Mm-hmm. It's like now the phone want to go slow. All day this motherfucker move fast. We do a lesson.
I get it for you.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, get that Lisa plug.
Yeah,
brother. That's Jeremiah.
You can bring it down.
Okay.
This is Jeremiah. And there's actually two scriptures going into it. One it says Edom, the other says Babylon. They're synonymous one with the other. Look at Jeremiah 50, verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he had taken against Babylon, and his purposes. They had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them.
Yeah, and the least of the flock is the Ishmael, not Ishmael, Salafi, goddamn, Amalekites.
Yeah.
They fight against Ishmael, of course, but it's the Amalekites. They're the smallest of Esau, so to speak, even over there in the land. It's very few. And so they're going to draw out the Americans who kiss their ass, to fight in this war. And you see that happening. And also, too, it's another one that I was thinking about. So they're going to be drawn out to war. And also, too, Russia's going to play a major role in this, dealing with the Ezekiel 38. Russia's going to be a guard to Iran. And matter of fact, let me get there real quick. So, because something happened yesterday or day before yesterday, it's different times over there on that side of the world. It can be light here, dark there. It can be October 5th. While they're over there in that time zone, it can still be the 4th here. So it kind of, but within a day or two ago, Israel had bombed Russian what's it called?
Oh, yeah.
Weapons depot
in
Latakia, Syria. Because they're allies with Syria. They came and helped Syria out when America and other countries wanted to come in and basically take them over, like how they did Libya and other places. So Israel, they got to pay a price for that. And Russia's very temperate because they don't want war. But Israel and America, they want war. The small hats, they want war because they're devils. So Ezekiel 38, starting verse 1, I'll make it quick too, brother. It says, and the word of the Lord came to me saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, which is Russia, and chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Right, because the Lord ain't for neither of these nations. So he's even against Magog, Meshach and Tubal. You know, it says, I will turn thee back, and this is the toughness that's going to be put upon Magog. You know, it says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And here's the allies of Magog, which is the Persians, the Ethiopians, right? Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So even other African nations that's not with Germany, you know, the U.S., NATO, they're going to be joining into Russia. They're part of that BRICS nations, you know. As the days go by, they're going to have a separation. You get that division?
Yep.
Because that's what's happening. The Lord's bringing division. He's bringing division. Yep. He's bringing division. First off, with us, you got the separation between the house of David and the house of Saul. And the Lord's dividing the rest of the nations. Because that's what the Lord's about. It says, Gomar and all his bands, the house of Togomar are the north quarters, and this is also Turkey. You look on an ancient map, Togomar, Gomar, they're right there with Turkey. And I think Tubal too. They're all right there in that area. That's the north. They're in the north. You know, it says Gomar and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands and many people with them. And the Turkish president, Erdogan, he stated before that they need to do something about Israel. You know, because they're Muslim, and they're like, man, we need to step up. And really, they're Edomites too. Yeah. They're not Ishmaelites. They just took the form of, you know, being Muslim. But even they said that we have to do something about Israel.
Yep. Matthew 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So just as Yahushua said, man, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. And that doesn't give America and the society and you know, the other nations in this society and this world no leeway. You don't get exempt. Yahushua said a kingdom divided against itself, and we see that right now. America is not exempt from that scripture. So what does it say that these words are faithful and true, and we believe these things? And as we see the division within America, the division within NATO and the EU, division within the Edomites, because they're all Edomites. So really, Russia and America, they're Edomites. They still divided against itself.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that these things are happening, and that prophecy is being fulfilled by them dividing against itself, and then they're falling. This place is falling. Society is falling. And even when you go into Daniel 2, go into the iron mixed with miry clay, it says that it can't mix. I'm going to pour that out real quick. Let's go into NATO and the EU, and it says Daniel 2. Okay, Daniel 2 and verse, let me see, Sloggy. Daniel 2 and verse, I'm just going to try to get straight to the point. Verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay. So we're seeing that these nations are divided. You know, the iron mixed with miry clay. And you got the strong nations, and you got the weak nations. And then America being the strong nation, and then you got the vassal states which support America, whether it be financially and economically, militarily. agriculturally, whatever it may be, because America is a more consumer base than it is exporter.
Export, yeah.
So we consume more than we export, which is why we're seeing and they're talking about this port strike being very, very bad if it continues on, because we don't make as much money if we're not, shipping in things.
Or intaking.
Yeah. So it says, verse 42, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So you can't, if you try to mix iron and clay, it's not going to stay together. It's going to, fumble apart and start to clump apart. It's the same thing that we're seeing right now within NATO and the EU, and then with America leading the cause. And even when you go into Revelation 17, real quick, Revelation 17 and verse 16, I believe, it says, "In the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." Going to NATO and the EU, they're going to hate America. We're already seeing Brexit. Britain left the Britain exit. We're seeing France is pissed off with America because maybe a year or so back, maybe like two or 3 years ago, Australia was making a deal with France to get submarines. And then America comes out of nowhere, out the cut, and says, well, don't take their submarines, take our nuclear powered submarines. So in that case, what are you going to say? Nah, I don't want your nuclear powered submarines. I want the regular submarines. No, Australia said, okay, give me that. And then France was like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that to us? Why do you undercut our deal? We're like, fuck it. So we're seeing that these nations are starting to hate America. Protest. You got the Iran, which they're not part of NATO. They're not part of NATO and the EU, but we're seeing that hatred towards America, coming to pass. They're saying the death, I ain't even gonna say it, but they're saying these things, these sayings to Israel and to America. So it says again, or continuing on, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. They're walking with America, then they're gonna turn their backs, run away, run to Russia's aid, China's aid, and then they're going to turn back around and face America and shoot their missiles at America and burn it with fire. This is what we're seeing happening right now before our very eyes, and we believe that this is that generation. You got that.
So I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get two in the back of your Jeremiah 51:7. It says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. It says the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So that's what's happening. The nations are mad because they drunken of their philosophies, the ways, the economic systems. They're trying to put our militaries together. We go to war, we got you, vice versa. And really, Europe can't afford another war. That I had 2 devastating wars, and this was going to be the most devastating. Because like how the lesson's title, this shall be a burning and fuel of fire, that's what's coming.
Yep.
And war always been in Europe. America ain't been touched, but it's going to get touched this time. It's going to be touched by its allies, which are Edomites. So they divided. And just like I was making a point with that earlier, after you had quoted that scripture, look what happened with us. We were divided, and what happened? We failed.
Yeah, right.
Northern Kingdom first, then Southern Kingdom. And we've been down for a while. To the eyes of the Lord, ain't a while. But to us, it's a while because our days and our times, it's totally different. But hey, Esau, Edom, they're not coming right back up. These other nations, they don't have their time. The time of the Gentiles has been fulfilled. We've been trodden down. Now it's time for us to we're going to rise from the ashes. Right. Like how it says in Romans, the whole earth waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. Other nations, they waiting for the Israelites to come back into power. Just like what that Hamite said, you black, you African Americans, y'all the Israelites, or however you were saying that we got, we want y'all. All nations, they want Israel, the real Israelites, to come into power, but starting with the elect. The rest of the nation, fuck them. because they 2/3 to the house of Saul.
Yep.
Revelation 11:18, the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and in the time of the dead that they should be judged, and thou, and that thou shouldest give reward to the servants, that the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great, and destroyest them which destroy the earth, sloppy. And so that's what these Edomites is doing with these wars, other different biological warfare that they doing. They're not just hurting us, they're hurting the earth. You know, and then I'm making another point too. It says, and give reward to the servants that are prophets. Why? Because they're the ones blowing that trumpet and warning the nation of Israel first, and then the rest of the nations telling them what's coming for them.
Yep.
And so, you know, that we're doing that. You know, other Israelite groups are not doing that. They're trying to build a kingdom here. When this place is about to be destroyed, there's nothing here. You don't even have fucking ports open. They have to keep this motherfucker running. Why are you trying to build a community here instead of just grabbing up the elect, doing spirit power of Yahweh Shemel Shah, and getting the fuck out of here? That's the mission. You niggas is caught up into your own mission. Y'all AWOL. Y'all niggas done went AWOL. And it's a judgment for that. The Lord gonna court martial you niggas, man.
Yeah.
Because you went outside military standards.
Mm-hmm.
Military standards and orders. So it's gonna be a judgment. And it's gonna be a judgment for the ones that's teaching and not teaching. You know?
Yeah.
But we gonna get the Lord will be us, man. We gonna get a good reward. And y'all gonna get a bad, very, very bad reward. And you're gonna wake up into the kingdom with a put down head. You got it.
Jeremiah 28 verse 8. The prophets that had before, Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that had been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Yep. And hey, that's what we doing. Start when our apostles and elders on down, day in and day out, week in and fucking week out, week in and week in. that's the only thing we've been doing is risking our lives, like how Elder Malcolm would say. You know what I'm saying? Risking our lives and our freedom.
Yeah.
To give you this message, to warn the elect, and that's the main reason why we do this is for the elect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because without the elect, without Yahweh Shah, you know, our nation wouldn't even stand no more. So it's about time that the elect is sealed. And like how Tahar already said, you know, they probably already sealed, but they got to be built up. You know, the elect still got to go through boot camp to be built up for this war that's getting ready to happen. Because, you know, like I said in the Apocrypha, it says, talks about how what's it about our battlements of the city. You know, we're in a battle. We're in a spiritual battle, man. And it's going to be physical. So we need Yahweh Shemel Shah. You know, you got something else too?
Yeah, I got something else to back you up with that. Revelation 10 verse 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So this was spoken to John the Revelator when he was on the island of Patmos. You know, he was up in age, and this wasn't talking about again when you gonna leave the island of Patmos and go prophesy again. Mm-hmm. No, there is no records of him doing that. This is speaking about reincarnation, going to prophesying against many great, as it says Jeremiah 28:8. The downfall, chanting the downfall of this wicked society. And this is what we're doing through the Spirit Power of Shemel Shai, starting with our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. On down. We're prophesying before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings that America is about to be destroyed. That there is no peace to America. Mm-hmm. There is no peace, tranquility, security to America and its allies. Only destruction and division.
I got two of them real quick. This is Daniel 12 and 13. It says, no, that's not the right version. Oh, here you go. Well, yeah, I'll read the King James. I don't like the other version. Daniel 12 and 13. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days. And so Daniel was told that he was going to rest for a minute, be in the spiritual realm, he was going to return in the last days to do what? Prophesy.
Yep.
That's what he did. That's back up what the brother had got. So that's what we're here doing this day. We're standing in our lot. Everybody's in their lot, whether they're a prophet or not. I'm going to get this Sirach 25:7. It says, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. In the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies. So Lord will be brought back so that we can see the fall of our enemies. The ones that we were prophesying about, the widow's man that written, one of the books of the prophets. Who knows? Who cares on this side right now? That's not important. The thing is that we came right back in our lot. We've been talking about this all these different years, and it's here.
Yep.
We're here to see the fall of our enemies and to ultimately be tried, to be proven. Like I said in 2 Ezra 7, Israel's portion is a tough one. Rich, let me get in. You got something, bro. You go ahead.
Yeah, I got this last scripture.
All right.
Isaiah 9:6, and it reads 9:6. It's not 9:6. It's
What second? You said 2 Ezra 9?
Isaiah 9.
Oh, 9:5.
9:5.
Yeah.
Okay. Isaiah 9:5. For every battle the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So we're seeing that back in, especially back in the ancient world, it'd be swords, they're clinging and clanging against each other. You got the arrows, shooting off, and blood, the war cry. Everybody running at each other. That's how it used to be. Even when you see modern day, you got the AR, you got the blood, you got the noise of the bullets, and even back during the Civil War, when the guns would stop working, they put them little knives on, bayonets, yeah, and then they just start charging at each other, yelling. So we're seeing that, but then it says what? But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, going into that nuclear destruction. That's always going to be burning and fuel of fire. You're going to have some skirmishes here and there, but when the World War III fully takes place and those missiles are shot, there ain't going to be no blood, man, because it's all going to burn up. America's going to be utterly destroyed, and there's not going to be left a trace of an individual, of a person. You're going to melt. And that's what we're seeing right now, man. That's why we are doing what we're doing right now, and why we do this week in and week out, day in and day out, so that we can escape the judgment that the Lord gave us in outside to bring upon this society.
Well, we got to go through that.
Right.
It ain't no getting around it. That Christian bullshit about being beamed up and not having to go
For the tribulation.
That's it. That's bullshit. Because like I said, it's right here. You got not just right here, but we're gonna be tried. Be proven that we are truly for our nation, for Yahweh Shem Shai. So 2 Ezra 7, I'm gonna start at 2. It says, he said unto me, up Esdras, and hear the words that I have come to tell thee. It says, and I spake, and I speak on my power with Salaki. And I said, speak on my power. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But the case, Salaki, but put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. It says, who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? Yep. If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There's also another thing: a city is builded and set up upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to follow. Like as there were a fire on the right hand and a deep water on the left. So you got two paths of destruction, right? You have one narrow path that's going to lead you through this. It represents a path of difficulty, which that's what Jacob's trouble is about. Really it's punishment for the wicked, and it's for the righteous to be tried, tested. You really with me? You faithful? If I put you through this situation, you're gonna bend, you're gonna fold. It's the hour of temptation.
Right.
You know, and it says, oh, that's what I want to add something to.
No, yeah.
It says right here in verse 8, it says, in one only path between them both. So it's one path between this deep water and that fire. It says, in one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. It says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive his inheritance? So if we don't go before this danger, how shall we receive it? You know, it's like it says, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion. So that's our portion. We got to go through that fire and that hell, the tribulation. And that's what's going to make us also appreciate the kingdom of heaven. You know, the Lord's not going to just give us the kingdom of heaven just because we're Israelites. You know, we might be just let. It don't work like that. You got to be proven. You know, just like, you know, we men of the Lord, you know, the Lord's people. You know, Jake always wants something to be proven. You got to prove to me you real. The Lord's the same way. We got that from him. So we got to be proven that we are really for him and his son. We are really thankful, you know. And many Israelites, they're going to fold. And I speak for myself, you know, because we don't want that. We don't know. But that's why you hope and pray that the Holy Spirit ain't taken away from you. Not just now, but also in the time to come. More so when the camera's gone, when the garments is gone, when you ain't out there teaching. But in food. Yep. You know. And I'm on motherfucking Taco Bell, Oscar's Taco Shop, and all that shit open. You know, you might have a little piece of bread and eat something. You gonna fold? Remember the Lord's gonna
like Esau.
Yeah.
For one more soul of meat, so his birthright.
Nigga couldn't eat fast. Not even 5 hours, nigga.
Right.
Couldn't even wait till the food is done, nigga. You know, so you know we don't want to be in that spirit. You know.
Yep.
So that's all I got.
Beautiful. So you know, as the title says again, this shall be with burning. Just like it's Palo Santo. This shall be it's going to burn. This place is about to burn.
Sacrifice,
yeah. Sacrifice and Basra.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that the Lord Yahweh Shemiyasai is about to come down with great wrath upon this society for the wickedness. And we're seeing the things play out right now. So Lord willing, this blessing is edifying to the spirit and the body and the forward. And before we end it off, let you give our praises, honor, and glory to where it's due to.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh.
And double honors once again to the apostles and the elders who buried no song. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.